Yo, what up? It's JSF, and the Marvel Tokon beta is over. It is officially over. As I'm recording this, it's Monday, so it ended yesterday morning. It was a short beta for sure, but I do believe that they're going to do another one. I don't think that this is going to be the end of the Marvel Tokon beta tests and the end of us being able to play the game pre-release. So just keep that in mind. A lot of people were saying they didn't get into the beta, but eventually they did get in. So I would hope that a lot of players that were having those issues eventually got to play the game. The game is really fun to play. Very enjoyable game to play. If you didn't play it at Evo or you didn't play it in the beta, hopefully you get a chance to play it again or play it for the first time really soon, because the game is really fun, really enjoyable. So now that the beta is over and we've played it, I want to talk about some of the things we learned and things that specifically I would say I learned from the Marvel Tokon beta about what kind of game Marvel Tokon is, right? What do we know about the game? What do we expect from the game, and what have we learned? So, I mean, if y'all like the video, send a like, subscribe, all that good stuff. But anyway, let's get into it. One of the first things I want to mention about this game is it's how do I say this slightly? The game is Dragon Ball. And what do I mean, right? Dragon Ball Fighters is a game that was made by ArcSys. It released in 2018. And it is a 3v3 fighting game. It is a versus game. It takes a lot of its isms from Marvel vs. Capcom, specifically Marvel vs. Capcom 2 and 3. It is a very beloved game, very successful game. A lot of people enjoyed it. A lot of people played it. So what I mean by Marvel Tokon is Dragon Ball Fighters. I don't mean that it's the same game or it's like the meta is going to be the same as Dragon Ball Fighters or anything like that. I don't mean any of that. In fact, this game isn't a versus game, which I'll get to. When I say that this game is Dragon Ball, I mean functionally the way you play the game is like Dragon Ball Fighters. Like, if you play Dragon Ball Fighters and you understand how to execute in that game, you will know how to play this game. So I will tell people that haven't played Marvel Tokon yet, if you want to get a feel for what this game is gonna play like what it's gonna feel like to do combos and play the neutral in this game, I would say go play Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls. Go play Dragon Ball Fighters. This is Marvel Tokon. I would say go play Dragon Ball Fighters. Absolutely go play that game. That will give you the best feel for what it feels like to control characters and move around and control space in this game. I say this as somebody who played a bunch of ArcSys games. I haven't played them all my entire life. I didn't grow up on ArcSys games. I grew up on Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat, hence the music in the background, right? So I grew up on that, but I did play a little bit of Guilty Gear XR, and I played a shit ton of Dragon Ball Fighters. I played a shit ton of Grand Blue Fantasy Versus. I played DNF Duel. I played a shit ton of Guilty Gear Strive. So, like, I've played all of the latest ArcSys games going all the way back to, like, 2017. So I know what an ArcSys game feels like, and I know what this ArcSys game feels like. So when I say it takes a lot of its isms from Dragon Ball, I mean like the auto combo system is exactly the same as Dragon Ball. The way auto combos work in air combos, exactly the same as Dragon Ball. The lobby system that for so far what we've seen is obviously in a lot of ArcSys games, but obviously it's very reminiscent to Dragon Ball. The system where some people online are green square, orange square, pink square, etc. Just playing Dragon Ball is a perfect step one to playing this game. It just is. So that is the game that I would compare this to the most, but obviously it's different. It doesn't have Reflect, it doesn't have Super Dash, it doesn't have every character in this game has two supers, a level 1 and a level 2. In Dragon Ball you have a level 1, maybe a level 2, maybe multiple level 1s, and then you have a level 3, right? And some characters have slightly different ones, and I think that could change later on, but as it stands right now, those are some of the differences, but there are also a lot of similarities. Another thing I want to say is just based on my experience alone, this isn't as much about the gameplay or the meta or anything, but it's just something that I noticed with the game that you will notice if you pay attention to the video footage in the background. The netcode in this game was alright. It wasn't amazing. It was a little lower than ArcSys standard for me. And I know that I had a couple issues with my internet that I was trying to figure out where they were coming from, but I play on wired connection, like I was playing wired the entire time. And a lot of people were on Wi-Fi, and a lot of people that were playing in this beta didn't have great connections. That's to be expected. But when the connections were that bad, it was pretty much unplayable. And like when I play Guilty Gear Strive or something like that, it's you can have a bad connection, but it doesn't feel as bad as it felt in this game. Now, granted, this is a beta. This is a relatively open beta. Not completely open where anybody can get in, but they sent out invites. It wasn't all the way closed. And then some people who didn't get in, they sent more invites. They added more playtime. So it's a beta version. But my first impressions is that the netcode is okay. It's not terrible, but it damn sure ain't amazing. So keep that in mind. Another thing I want to mention about Marvel Tokon is this is not a versus game. I think people need to understand that. I feel like by now most people know that this is not Marvel vs. Capcom 4, even though it's Marvel versus 4v4, but it's not a versus game. And by that I mean that do not look at this through the lens of a game like Marvel vs. Capcom. And I know that I say this game is Dragon Ball, and Dragon Ball is a versus game. Absolutely, Dragon Ball is a versus game. But I only mean that this is Dragon Ball in the sense of how you play it. Not a sense of what the game is like, what the mechanics and whatnot, or what what you should want to do in the game. I think a lot of people were looking to play this like again, I'm going to speak about it being a tag fighter, but I want to talk about it being versus as well. Like playing it with the mindset that you would play a game like Marvel vs. Capcom with. Like, oh, my health is down, let me tag out. Like, oh, let me call this assistant to do this, let me do. And like, there are times to call assists, absolutely. But the mindset in the game is different. Like, this is a 1v1 game with assists. It is. I know some people agree with that, some people disagree with that, but this is 100% a 1v1 game with assists. Now, the thing is, there's more. It's a 1v1 game with assists plus more, but the base of the game is a 1v1 with assist game. And I mean, they said that when they launched the game. They put that in like the notes, like, hey, if you don't want to learn how to play 4 characters, you do not have to do that. You can play 1 character and that's it. And there's only 1 life bar in this game, right? All those other versus games have 2 or 3 life bars. A character can die. Like, you can get Happy Birthday in this game, and it does do more damage for sure, but it's not the same as like, oh, bet I killed 2 characters at once. Like, you're only killing 1 character per round, right? So again, and this game as well, this is as far as competitive play and tournament games, this is a 2 out of 3 game. This is not a 3 out of 5 game. There's no reason to play 3 out of 5 in tournament for this game because a game is 3 rounds, first to 3 rounds. And I think that's on purpose. Like how Dragon Ball was always a first to 2 game because you have to kill 3 characters and they have built-in comeback mechanics, etc. That's the other thing in this game. There is no comeback mechanic. There is no sparking blast, there is no X Factor, there is no crazy mechanic that when you're down, like, you get that. Now, they do have things that help you out, like building meteor when you get hit is a fighting game staple, but also, like, you lose a round, you unlock another character and another chunk of your meteor, like, but that's it. There is no, and you don't have to lose a round to get your other characters and get the rest of your meteor. You can get it while winning. In fact, I think part of the early meta is going to be, I gotta hit early. Do I want to go for as much damage as I can get with my solo character or 2 characters, or do I want to unlock another character? I started, anytime I got a knockdown, I started immediately going for like the stage transition to unlock another character. That was like the first thing I would go for every time. I don't care about damage. I want more meteor. I want more assists. Because if I win, especially if I'm winning a round, because if I win a round, then they're going to get it and I'm not going to have it. So you'll be at a slight disadvantage. But that's the only comeback mechanic in the game. So keep that in mind that this is not, if you're playing this like Marvel 3 or like Dragon Ball, it's not going to work. With Dragon Ball, I would say think of like combo structure and buttons and stuff like that. And like maybe neutral, think Dragon Ball, but in the terms of the meta and mechanics and things like that, I think it's going to be way different. And that's another thing I want to talk about. This is a tag game. And I know to some people, I never played BB Tag, so I can't speak. I've heard some people say it's similar to BB Tag. I can't speak to that. I've never played BB Tag. I've never played Blaze Blue at all, actually. That's the one Arxis game I never played. But I will say this is a tag game. Tag game in the sense that tagging in your characters is going to help you out. Obviously, you're going to tag to extend combos. You can play with one character, but your combo ability and your combo meter for most characters, if not all characters, is going to be very short. Like your combos are going to be very short. You're not going to be able to do as much damage if you're not tagging. Star-Lord was the best character in this beta by far, but even he, if he wasn't using any assists, was severely limited. Another thing, I wish I could find the clip. Some of the higher level players who grind fighting games like this for a living, like Sonic Fox, were showing off later on in the beta like mix-ups, in a sense where you can start a mix-up with a character like Star-Lord and then have him do a move, tag out, and then start mixing with the other character, where this game does not have active tag. The tagging is a little bit different. Like they come in, they do an assist, and if they don't get hit or anything, you have a chance to tag them out, and you can raw tag. But things like that are gonna become like more of a thing later on in like the game's life. Not super later, but like once we have more time with the game, once we have a training mode and things like that, we will be able to find like assist layers and things like that. So tagging in other characters will have its usage and utility, absolutely. That's why I say this is a tag game, because you're gonna want to tag for assist, you're gonna want to tag for better mix-ups, and there's gonna be times to tag for neutral. But it isn't a multiple character versus multiple character, because like tagging doesn't save your character. Tagging is a risk in this game. Tagging is a liability. It's not like I tagged and okay, cool, I got my character out, now I'm safe. It's like, no, you're just tagging to get a different coat of paint. You're just tagging to get a different character on the screen. Like you don't, tagging doesn't grant you any health or anything like that, unless anything changes. And I can only speak for the version of the game that we've played so far. And there can always be things that change, new characters added, new mechanics added. But yeah, that's so far is just some of the things that I noticed, some of the things I thought about Marvel Tokon. Let me know what you guys think. I'm sure there's more things I could talk about, but I don't want to make this video too long as it is. But the game is really fun. If you haven't played it, look out for the next chance there is to play it, whether it's a beta, whether it's at an event or something. Try to play it if you get a chance to. Like I said, playing it online, there were some times, and if you're watching the video, sometimes I was playing online was totally fine. I even played in an online tournament for this game, and I didn't have any issues with online. I heard one or two people say they did, but most of the times I didn't. So when I played against people who had solid internet, usually fine. When I was playing against just random people online, it was literally a coin flip. I had no idea. So that's my only concern so far is the netcode. I'm not sold on, and I've heard some people say similar things like, yeah, I don't know about the netcode in this game. So it's ArcSys, so they should know what they're doing. But yeah, that's really my only concern. The game is cool. That and the roster, right? But the roster isn't a concern. It's just an uncertainty. Like, we don't know who's going to be in the game, how many characters are in the game. I hope it launches with at least 16 to 20. I'm going to say 20 characters, but I could see it launching with 16. I would hope that it launches with 20 to 24 characters. That would be perfect to me. But I could see a world where they launch with 16 characters or some number that's not divisible by 4, which I think is nonsense. But anyway, that's all I got for y'all today. I enjoyed this game a lot. I want to do more YouTube content and more streaming on Twitch, so look forward to more Marvel Tokon news and content. Oh, the final thing that I want to say about this game, and this might be a hot take before I get out of here. The impression I got from playing in this beta and playing this game, like I said, the netcode was my only concern, is I think this game is closer than people think. I think a lot of people are under the impression that this game is not coming out till like late next year or mid next year. I think this game is coming out in the next 9 months, maybe in the next 6 months. I think this game is much closer to being finished than any of us think. Why? Just because the game feels very fleshed out. It feels like they know the game they have on their hands. It's almost like the Street Fighter 6 thing, right? I know the Street Fighter 6 beta was like a year before the game came out, but with Street Fighter 6, they had all their mechanics. They had the drive system mapped out, drive rush, drive impact, all these tools, the online, the world tour mode. They knew what they were pushing. They knew what their product was. And from the jump, it didn't seem like that there was a lot more to do. It didn't seem like they were confused. It seemed like they knew what they were on. They knew what they had, and they were happy with what they had. So, that's the kind of the vibe I get from this. And just my only point of reference is the Dragon Ball beta. So, the Dragon Ball FighterZ beta was in 2017 September. The game released in 2018 January. Now, I do not think this game is releasing in January. I do not think it's releasing in February. March or April, though, I think we're going to have this game. I really do. And I could be wrong on this, but the game does not seem like there's a ton more for them to do or add to it. Like, it seems like all that's missing is characters and stages. Character stages and, like, single player content. But as far as the gameplay itself, it feels like it's all there. We just didn't have time to figure it all out yet. And then the uniqueness will come in the characters, right? The mechanics are there. One thing that I thought was kind of weird, this game doesn't seem to have any invincible reversals. It doesn't seem to have any DPs, like, for real. Like, I think supers are invincible, but they didn't seem reliable as invincible reversals. Like, it wasn't easy getting them to come out. And anything like Cap DP, Iron Man DP, they're not invincible, even the EX versions. So it seems like they want you to use their crossover mechanic. If you want somebody to get off you, like, that's the tool they want you to use. And if you're, doing it, if it's obvious that you're doing it, the other player can counter it, and like they want that to be part of the meta and the counterplay and all that kind of stuff. So cool, like, you know what I mean? It seems like they put a lot of thought in this game. They know the game they want, and they're ready to put it out. But anyway, now that's all I got for y'all. So like, comment, let me know what y'all think. I'm gonna get out of here. Y'all stay safe. JSF, I'm out. Peace.